There was a deserted house near the place of that ritual. This was the same house where Maria's fellow witch, who had taught her witchcraft, used to live. Both of them searched the house. They found only a silver cup and a knife in that house. Grandfather understood that all these were devilish things. He said, "It is not right for Maria's body and all these things to be lying outside like this. They will have to be kept in the church overnight." Maria's body and all those demonic things were kept in the church overnight. Morning came. Demonic objects like silver cups and knives were blocked by sprinkling holy water in Maria's house. A cross was placed outside each room and hall of the house to ward off demonic forces. Grandfather said to Henry's brother, "Maria's evil spirit may try to come alive again. So from today you stay in this house and take care of all these things." Henry's brother agreed. The process of burying Lad Maria's body began. The sacred thread was not removed from his body but was buried along with it. Pages of the holy book were wrapped around her body and a large cross was placed on her coffin. Or with the help of the townspeople, Maria was buried outside the church. That grave was at a short distance from the graves of his parents. Even after doing all this, the church pastors were worried. When Henry's brother asked him about his predicament, he said that Maria's evil spirit was wandering here after her death. All these measures taken by him will keep the devil under control for 300 years, but then the devil will become uncontrollable. Then what will happen after 300 years? Henry's brother asked. Maria's evil spirit will be free again and will find the body of a virgin girl. After getting the body, she will dominate that body and try to bring Satan back to this earth through satanic birth ritual. Quote, Grandfather said, "So is there no way to stop all this completely?" Grandfather said, "The devil cannot be killed, but Maria's evil spirit can definitely be destroyed." How? There is only one solution. Suddenly Eliza's eyes opened. She realized that she had fallen asleep on the table while reading the book. It was night outside. Dogs were barking somewhere in the distance. The curtains on the window were moving slowly with the blowing wind. He was surprised that it was so late in the night, but Charles didn't even wake him up for dinner. While she was thinking all this, she heard someone crying. She got scared and ran towards the children's room. But there was no one in the children's room. There was silence all around. Where did the children go? She got up and hurriedly went downstairs to Charles's room, but surprisingly Charles was also missing. She was horrified. Where had everyone gone? Eliza came into the hall and greeted Charles and the children but got no response. Only his voice was echoing in the entire house. He did not understand what was happening. Suddenly he again heard the sound of someone crying. That sound was coming from outside the house. Eliza opened the main door of the house with trembling hands. It was pitch dark outside. There was a dying void of peace there. She lit a lantern and came out with it. She was very surprised to see the outside scene. Outside there was only darkness and dense fog. She looked around his house, but there was only fog and darkness. After all, where did the forest near his house go? It seemed to Eliza as if her home had reached a place filled with endless fog. She started going back inside the house, but then she heard crying from behind. But this time, the crying sounds of not just one but many people were reaching his ears. Somehow she gathered courage and started moving forward in the fog. Suddenly he saw a girl in front of him. The girl's back was towards Eliza and she was crying. Eliza asked fearfully, "Who?" The girl turned back. Eliza was horrified to see him. Tears of blood were flowing from the girl's eyes, and it was the same girl whom she had seen outside her house a few days ago. Suddenly more faces started emerging from behind the girl. Eliza stepped back in fear. There were many girls standing behind her and tears were coming out of their eyes. She was crying and saying to Eliza, "Free us, free us." Eliza was unable to understand anything when suddenly she saw a man standing nearby. He said, "You have to kill him. I have to kill him." This was the same man whom Eliza had found in the forest by the pond. Two old couples and a beheaded man were standing near that man. All of them were chanting the same tune, "Free us, free you, free me." Eliza was going crazy with all this. When she couldn't hear anything else, she put her hands on his ears. Suddenly they all became silent and their eyes got stuck on the main door of Eliza's house. Eliza was surprised. Suddenly those people slowly disappeared in that fog. Eliza also looked back towards the door. Suddenly the sound of someone laughing came from behind that door, but that laughter was not normal. That door slowly started opening on its own. Eliza saw that behind the door in the hall stood a woman with a terrible face, dressed in black. As soon as Eliza saw her, the woman ran towards her. Eliza tried to run away, but she couldn't even move. I don't know, as if her feet were frozen. That evil spirit was about to attack her when suddenly she opened her eyes again on the same table. Eliza was completely confused. She could not understand what was happening. She was not able to differentiate between the dream and the real world. She could not understand whether what she was seeing was a dream or what she had seen earlier was a dream. She looked around her. The sun was about to set. The chirping of birds had increased above the forest trees. They were returning to their nests. Cool winds were blowing. Eliza heard the sound of Harry playing downstairs. Her mind felt relieved. She closed the book and came down the hall. Harry was playing with his ball in the hall. Charles was in the kitchen preparing dinner. Nancy was sitting at the dining table writing something in her diary. She also had a book. She did not notice Eliza's presence. She went near her and said, "What are you writing, Nancy?" Suddenly hearing Eliza's voice, Nancy got scared. She quickly closed his diary and said, "Nothing, Mom." Eliza found her behavior somewhat strange. It is night. Everyone had food and after eating food they went to their respective rooms to sleep. Eliza put the children to sleep and bid them good night and came to her room. She lay down on the bed, but she could not sleep. She was thinking about her dream only. Suddenly she started remembering the things written in the book. After Maria's death, the people of the town thought that the trouble was over, but this was just the beginning of the trouble. After Maria's death, incidents of the curse of the Black Lady started coming to light, whose first victim was Farmer Nito's daughter Olivia. She kept thinking about all these things. It's morning. The children had breakfast and went to school. Charles had also done all the household work. Eliza went to him and said, "Charles, I need to talk to you about something important." They both sat down at the dining table. Eliza said, "Charles, a few days ago I went to Father Lawrence Verdi's house. There he gave me a book written by my grandfather about Maria. I read that book. Are the things written in that book true?" Charles's face turned pale. The things which he had kept hidden were suddenly revealed to him. He said, "Yes, it's true. Both Lawrence Vardy's ancestors and my ancestors killed Maria. When she died, Maria's entire property went to an organization named SFOLK. Your husband Peter's grandfather had bought this house in an auction of the same organization. Our family has been taking care of this house since Maria's death. Father Verdi and I are preventing the evil force from spreading in this house and the wooded area around it. Only now did Maria begin to understand something. Actually, Charles was from Henry's family and he worked to prevent Maria's evil forces from spreading. Father Badi also used to help him. After Maria's death, Father Vadim's great-grandfather started living here because he felt that Maria's evil spirit would try to do something bad again. Crosses were also placed around the houses of both Father Verdi and Eliza for this reason. Eliza was thinking all this when Charles spoke. "I also have something to tell you. Actually, I wanted to say this yesterday evening itself, but I did not think it appropriate to talk like this in front of the children." "Yes, Charles. Tell me, what's the matter?" "That man. Have you noticed that Nancy has been behaving strangely for the last few days? She is no longer the calm and gentle Nancy she used to be." "What do you mean, Charles? Say it clearly." "A few days ago, when I was watering the rose flower bed outside, suddenly Nessie came out. She came to me and said that from today she will take care of the rosebuds herself. All these roses are hers and she will not give them to anyone. Will not let them touch them. Not only this, yesterday evening when I was cooking, Harry accidentally threw the ball towards Nancy, which made her so angry that she was about to slap Harry, but I stopped her. He threw the ball out of the house in anger, causing Harry to cry. Somehow I silenced him." Hearing Charles's words, Eliza got lost in thought. In fact, Nancy's behavior was changing day by day. She had also noticed this. When they hear Nancy had started behaving differently ever since he came. Her attraction to roses, the maintenance of those devilish things and her short temper, all this was not in Nancy's image. Suddenly Eliza remembered what Nancy had said many days ago. "How beautiful this house is. It is still exactly the same today, not even a little changed."